Should you do it? Let's find out. Come on. Let's go. What is going on, guys? Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We're here. Let's chat about it. What's going on? How are you? We got some news coming out for you guys. What's up, party people? Oh, look at all these incredible humans popping in fast. Mike, what's going on? Oh, my little sister. Hello, Alexandra. Sophia, what's up? I started going live on TikTok, I'm assuming. Yes, it is fun. How are you guys today? Before I start chatting, I'd like to talk with you guys, just connect a little bit. I'm prepping for my next show, so I'm currently doing a little bit of cardio. I had an idea that I wanted to share with you guys, and I figured we'd talk about it. Do you guys know what bodybuilding is? For those who are maybe new here, maybe you don't pay attention to what I do on social media, that's totally cool too. But do you guys know what it is? Have you ever thought about it before? I'd be curious to know a little bit more before I start talking about it, who I'm speaking with. Hey, what's going on, Bradley? How you doing? How's your day? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I absolutely crushed my workout this morning. Feeling good. Our team is succeeding. I feel excited to get back on stage, which is good. Getting lean. People are noticing. Carlos, what's up? You're at 19,000 steps. Wow, that's a lot. What's the difference between bodybuilding and toning? Donna, that is a great question. And it's pretty extensive, the difference, to be honest. If I'm being transparent, I think the word toning is really bullshit. It's not really a real thing. I think specifically, and I'm not throwing any shade, but females love to use that word. And I used to use it as a buzzword to get people to get excited about, when I was really working with more females. I'm not saying that like shaping up your muscle is not a real thing. I think the terminology of thinking of it that way is just a little misleading. So, but to answer your question, the difference between the two, bodybuilding is like intensely shaping your physique to look a certain way based on a specific division that you would be potentially competing in. So if you look at the different divisions, we have open bodybuilding, at least for males, open bodybuilding, we have classic physique, men's physique. Those are like the big three. Obviously, there's a couple others, 212, a few others, but each division is going to be judged and categorized based on certain developments of certain muscles in specific ways. So to answer your question here, Donna, the difference between bodybuilding and toning, for each division inside of bodybuilding, there's specific criteria that these judges are looking for each one. Does that make sense? So let's say if I'm a classic physique bodybuilder, which I am, so if that's the case, then I'm going to be training differently as a men's physique athlete. I'm going to be training differently as an open bodybuilder would, because they're going to be judged differently. So to go back to toning, toning is like the average, mindset when it comes to lifestyle clients who are maybe, just trying to shape up a little bit. I've recently pivoted into a bit more of the extreme side of things with bodybuilding and competing. I'm in the process right now of actually going for my pro card, which I'm super excited about. So I'm going to be competing in a few shows within the next few months. I'm about, I want to say 14 weeks out right now for my next show here on November 9th. So I'm super excited about that. Julian, my man, what's going on, brother? Just chatting a little bit about bodybuilding. We have our upcoming masterclass on Thursday, August 1st at 6 p.m. Regardless if you're somebody who is competing or not, you can attend. It's totally free. I actually would probably like to see a little bit more lifestyle clients raising their hand on that, but I've also been speaking a lot more towards bodybuilding just because I truly love what bodybuilding is and what it stands for. Because for me personally, like every single day, you're getting the opportunity to work on yourself and improve. That's what bodybuilding is in my eyes, because every day, every workout, every set, every rep, every meal, it counts towards something. And I think as human beings, we have goals that we're looking to strive towards. I think that's just in our DNA. We like to work towards something. You often see people who are the most anxious and depressed and lost usually don't have goals or a vision. For that reason, I've really grown to love bodybuilding. If you told me 5 years ago that I would be, doing this, I probably wouldn't have guessed it. I'm a former collegiate athlete. I played football and baseball growing up. When I graduated college back in 2019, I had to like reinvent myself unexpectedly because I finished up my baseball career and I was trying to really find myself. So when you, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but you know, when you stop playing sports and you have to get into more of a career setting and start doing more of that, sometimes you lose your identity a little bit, you know? So for me, I wanted to try and recreate that competition aspect that I was so used to in my earlier years with sports and translate that into now. Because otherwise, you know, you're kind of just playing like rec league softball, you know, and maybe some pickup basketball here and there. And I've done all that and it's awesome and I really enjoy it. But I just got to this place where I wanted my life to really mean something. And I'm not saying that it doesn't mean something, you know, because everyone has a purpose here, right? But for me, I really wanted to try and shoot for something that was a little extreme and pretty drastic. Maybe for some other people, they wouldn't do that. And that's kind of what I enjoy. I almost want to push myself a little bit harder than most people just to kind of show that I can in a way. Obviously, I'm doing it for myself and something that I do enjoy. Like, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not bodybuilding and competing to prove other people something. I genuinely love it and I enjoy it and it's something I look forward to. But I also want to show other people how hard I'm willing to push myself and how consistent I'm willing to be and how disciplined I am. Because I think that those character traits that you could really build within yourself throughout that process translates into a lot of the other things that we're doing in our lives. You know, for me, I've learned a lot about myself throughout this process of taking bodybuilding pretty seriously, you know, and it's I think from top to bottom improved me as an individual, not only with my confidence, but also my styles of communication, of how I show up, my energy, just everything. It's just made me a better, more confident, energetic, positive human being. And there's a lot of studies that you could read into that as well. Isaac, what's up, my man? But actually, I want to scroll through these questions. Omar, how you doing? Hey, I'm Casey from Crawfordville. I live in the country. I'm 34. That's incredible. We're chatting about bodybuilding and what it could potentially look like for you guys to learn some things. And again, just to reiterate this, regardless if you're looking to compete or not, I'm hosting a free masterclass on Zoom this Thursday, August 1st at 6 p.m. EST. If you just DM me the word class, it'll send you automatically the registration, and then you can sign up, put your email and number, you can get reminders, and I will be there regardless on Thursday for an hour to really dive into some things. So I wanted to be clear, regardless if you're competing or not, you can still join, you can still learn some things. It's a little bit more advanced, I guess, in some of the things I'm going to be speaking about. So if you don't have at least a couple years of training under your belt, it might be a little confusing and overwhelming to you, but it's up to you. I wanted to scroll through these comments and kind of see if there's anything here. Oh, my friend's bodybuild says the biggest issue is heart rate issues because of the stress of the workout. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I buy into that. Maybe if he's taking a lot of steroids, then that could be more of like a hard thing for sure, you know? But I think overall, I think working out is good for you, 100%. You could look into obviously like improving your bone density, your muscle structure, releasing dopamine, reducing cortisol. I mean, from top to bottom, I don't think we could really argue that working out isn't good for you. If you're worried about potentially putting strain on your heart, I'd probably look at maybe some other lifestyle factors that you're maybe experiencing right now. Maybe you're not sleeping good. Maybe you're abusing caffeine. Maybe your nutrition sucks, like that sort of thing. Up to what age can you compete? Dude, there's divisions for literally everything. I actually have a client, Alex of mine, who's been kind of teetering back and forth with it. He's in his 40s. He just decided that he's going to be getting on stage next year. So we're in the process right now of kind of cleaning up some things with him, changing up his protocols. There's divisions for literally everything. He's in Arkansas, so he's going to be competing in potentially a hero division, which is something new, specifically for former military and veterans. So there's literally like a division for everybody. There's like true novice, more lower class, like natural shows. There's all kinds of things, man. Like they encourage people to do it. Obviously, depending on where you're located and what show that you do, it's going to obviously be a bit different on the people that show up, right? 7 weeks out from the last one of my season. It'll be the third since March. Keep grinding. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I hope that your show goes well. I hope that your prep is something that you enjoy. I actually just made a post about that earlier as well. So thank you for saying that. Intense wrestling. I guess you wrestle too. That's pretty cool. But yeah, man, I hope your prep goes well. I hope you crush it. I'm sure you're probably going to do great. Not sure if you have a coach or not, but regardless, it's an awesome experience that I think everybody who takes fitness a bit more seriously than the average person is something you should potentially consider. It's not for everybody. Like, I'm not coming on here to say, hey, you have to compete. You have to be a bodybuilder. Because it's definitely, pretty meticulous when it comes to weighing out meals and, tracking calories, doing cardio, training. It does take a special type of person to be that consistent and that disciplined. But at the same time, if you're already kind of doing those things and you feel stagnant within your journey, then maybe just entertain the conversation. That's kind of where I got myself personally. I felt like I was just going through the motions with the gym and kind of just showing up. And I just felt like I didn't have a purpose and something to work towards. And that's where I started to entertain the thoughts and ask questions. How long training for a normal guy like me to go on stage? Are you asking specifically like how many years you would need to have as far as getting to stage? I'm not sure if I'm understanding that question correctly there, Isaac. Are you asking like, is there a prerequisite to how many years? Not necessarily. They're not going to say on like the registration form, hey, you need to have 3 to 5 years of experience. It's not like that. You could train for 1 year and go fucking compete. But the reality is that you probably will get fucking smoked if that's the case. The reason that I personally say 3 to 5 years is because by that time, you should have a pretty solid understanding of nutrition, macros, training, what a split looks like, just navigating it more and having it integrated into your lifestyle. Because the reason I'm saying if you're on like year one, that competing might not make sense for you is because it'll be such a swing to the other side of extremes for you to make this jump into tracking and weighing every single meal, logging your training sessions, your rest time, no alcohol, getting good sleep, no restaurant meals, constantly doing posing. There's a lot that goes into it. So that's why I say have at least a few years. That way you're not trying to do something, a little bit too extreme out of your comfort zone. So let me know if that makes sense there, Isaac. That's a good question though as well. If you guys over on TikTok have questions regarding bodybuilding or what it looks like to compete, or maybe if that's something you're interested in doing, I'm an open book. I love this shit. I love to talk about it. I can talk about it all day. But I also think the caveat to this as well is recognizing that just because you're a bodybuilder and somebody that takes fitness seriously doesn't mean that's the only fucking thing that you do. And I think that's where a lot of people in the space are getting lost right now. And this is my controversial opinion, you might say, of, well, you're lifting all the time. You can't do anything else. I don't think people really say that. But what I mean is I think sometimes, like coaches and bodybuilders specifically in the space are really just like so into it, but they don't really do anything else. Like their life is the gym and, meals and all that and supplements. And like, don't get me wrong, it's a huge part of mine, but it's not the only thing. I love business. I love networking. I love doing a lot of things. I'm not saying every bodybuilder is just a meathead, just protein and weights. But I think sometimes maybe from the outside looking in, some people might categorize it as like that's all we do. And I just don't think that's the truth. I think if anything, what I've learned from my last prep compared to now is that like I'm going into it with this mindset of just really trying to enjoy myself more. I'm almost like, how can I enjoy myself way more than I did the last time? And if you go on over to my Instagram, I literally just made a post about it a couple minutes ago. But for my last prep, I literally felt like a zombie for the last like 2 months because I had rushed into it, and I haven't competed since. I've been in an off-season build for literally over 2 years now with my coach, taking time, learning more about my body, building, adding a little bit of body fat. People listen to that. What do you mean you purposely added on body fat? Well, I was trying to grow, right? So in order to grow muscle tissue, you need to be in a calorie surplus. Now, the issue that a lot of people fall into is thinking that the calorie surplus needs to be so high. If you just went 300 to 500 calories above maintenance, right, you still got steps, you still trained hard, you would add size. The problem is a lot of us deal with such extremes of I'm not going to do anything or I'm going to fucking track every fucking meal. It's like, how can we start to find that balance? And I think that's one of the biggest skill sets that I have at least acquired or worked on, I should say, over the last couple of years is having the strength and the discipline of my mind to stay locked in and really push myself, but also recognize that not every single second needs to be an all-out grind. You can grind. You could know when to show up, when to push hard, stay consistent, stay disciplined, but also live your fucking life too. Because I literally did absolutely nothing other than train, cardio, sleep for my last prep. This time around, I'm trying to be a little bit more of a human. I'm trying to really just be like, how can I enjoy myself a bit more during this prep? And I'm sure Maddie will probably agree to this as well. Just because you're prepping and getting on stage for a show doesn't mean that all the other things in your life suddenly stop. You still have to work, you still have to be a partner, and you still have to show up and do other things. We're not people that are just eating out of containers all day, every day, and doing tons of cardio. Yes, it's a part of it. And that's why I'm hosting this masterclass on Thursday. Just like, come hang out, come ask me things, come learn, be a student. I think there's a lot to be said for somebody who is willing to remove their ego and really embody a student role and just say like, hey, I surrender. Let me know what's good. Like, what can I learn? How can I get better? And that mindset will take you places. That I can assure you. Is that making sense over here, TikTok? You guys getting value from this? Yes, I'm a bodybuilding coach. Under this sweatshirt is some really nice delts, I promise. But I don't know why I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now. It's actually summer in South Florida, and it's fucking like 100 degrees. But at least I got air conditioning. That's what air conditioning is for. Whoever's here live, TikTok, IG, do you guys have specific questions regarding my upcoming masterclass or regarding bodybuilding, training, nutrition, or itself? I have time to kill here. I'm recording a podcast soon with a good buddy of mine in about 30 minutes, and I'm working on getting some cardio in at this point in time. So if not, I will continue to rant about my own journey, but I figured it's useful for you guys to at least maybe ask a question and pick my brain a little bit. But Isaac, I hope that gave you some clarity on what you were thinking about there as well. TikTok has been a little quiet recently. So I just wanted to chat about that with you guys. Cool, man. Appreciate you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome, brother. Tell more people about this shit, man. That's what's frustrating about these. Everyone gets so butthurt about the algorithm, and like, I get it. Sometimes it suppresses your shit. I want to get our coaching into the hands of more people, not for my own pockets, but because I think there's a lot of, I'm just going to say it, there's a lot of shitty coaches out there that, don't really care too much about their athletes. They just want to, throw a plan out there, be off of it, and kind of do the least amount of work. Whereas, like, I'm really focused on doing the opposite and just making sure we pour into our clients and make everyone feel seen and have some deeper conversations. And, those are things that we do inside of our program as well, is not just focusing on the actual training itself, but also taking it a layer deeper and understanding more about yourself and how you show up and the reasons behind why you feel the way that you do and all of that. So it's very interesting stuff. But I actually have a phone call that I need to make that I completely forgot about. So I didn't put it on my calendar. That's another thing. It's not on my calendar. I ain't getting it done. But I appreciate you guys. I hope you have an incredible day, and I will chat with y'all soon. Much love. Peace. Let's get it.